let's move on to this Nixon moon landing deepfake.
Right. I saw you put this here, and I didn't get a chance to look into it. What's going on?
Open
here?
up that video. This is so incredible. And we could talk all about deepfakes and stuff. Let's just watch this a little bit. Okay. How long is it? Let's just watch.
46 seconds.
I don't think we'll get claimed on this, so just turn it up. There we go. So this is Richard Nixon for our audio listeners.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. Fate has ordained that the men who went to the moon to explore in peace will stay on the moon to rest in peace.
Okay, I think that's the crux of it. So just stop it there. I'm not sure why the video has like 20 seconds of blank tape. This is obviously fake. The speech was written. There's a bunch of it were basically I should explain what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, what's going on?
People go to the moon. Nixon delivers a speech. We landed on the moon. Everything was great, addressing the nation. There was also, obviously, if it went wrong, he had his speechwriters write a different speech, which is absolutely available and is chilling. Wow. And it's all, public record nowadays and stuff. And you've probably seen it there's a couple of TV shows. It's mentioned in The Man in the High Castle, which I haven't seen. I just looked this up. And there was also a TV show called Timeless, which is a hugely underrated TV show, which I happen to love, where like they do alternate history timelines.
Oh, okay.
And they use the Nixon.
That's an amazing bit of footage to stumble upon if you're writing Timeless and you're trying to do like an alternate history.
Well, hang on. The footage isn't real. The speech was written. It was never delivered. Like, he didn't film it.
Oh,
yeah, no, dude,
right,
that is not real.
I missed the whole thing here. All right, God, that's not real.
The speech was written, and then he was like, okay, well, you've got two envelopes, one for success, one for failure. And obviously he took the success one because, hey, we're on, man on the moon. They came back. But he had this other one, which was, the men who went to the moon are ordained to stay in the moon. And it goes on about... It goes on, you stay on the moon, because assuming they would just get stuck there and eventually die. So let's talk about
which I imagine
this.
at the time was a real possibility. I think they had that ready. Didn't they say it was something like 80% probability of failure or something like that?
But it was absurd. The Apollo program and the Gemini program before it, incredibly, I think in Apollo, wasn't it? There were just 3 astronauts killed in a ground fire in the caps. They were doing a simulator. And a fire broke out in the capsule, and they couldn't get the door open. So 3 astronauts died, which I think is why Neil Armstrong got to be the first man on the moon.
Oh, didn't know that. There you go.
But like there were only 3 in the whole program. They sent 20? No, not 20. Like 12 people to the moon.
I think more than that. I think more
than that. A lot of people
5
to
to
the
6.
moon.
Yeah,
it's like over 6 flights or whatever. I'm not sure my Apollo history. Apollo 11, 13 didn't succeed. 17 was the last. So 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 7, 6
like,
flights.
It is
to
an
the moon.
amazing feat of like mankind to get to the moon.
Not as amazing as that deep fake. So there's another link there. Load up this second one.
This one, yeah.
So deep fakes are basically where you've seen them. They're mentioned in pornography all the time, where it's like someone's face is put onto someone else's body. So, like a Photoshop job from back in the day. But now with video, we're watching it. I got to log in with my account, so we have premium.
Oh, here we go. We got another one.
Yeah,
bit of check for people.
In a row. Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, there you go.
Skip ad, man. Come on.
Skip ad.
Let's
Sorry,
get going.
Sorry, let's do this. Sorry. Here we go.
Oh, so okay.
Dude, oh my God, is that Keanu Reeves? Dude, that's Keanu Reeves. Oh my God.
That's crazy.
You need to get his autograph.
No, I'm way too embarrassed. I'm not gonna mess with him.
Come on. He'll be the one embarrassed.
It
He's
looks
the
like
nicest
found
guy,
footage
dude. Go,
or
come
like
on.
a guy filming on a cell phone, vertical thing, and he goes up to Keanu Reeves.
Mr. Reeves?
What can I do for you guys?
Keanu, right? Is it cool if I maybe get your autograph?
Absolutely. I'd be honored.
Yes. Oh, yeah,
So,
that's a fake face.
Okay.
Picture.
It just happens to have a picture of him. But just pause it.
What's your name?
It's fake.
Yeah.
Obviously. It does look this one I feel looks a bit fake. There's a whole making of by this incredible channel called Corridor Crew. Which is well worth watch. And this is, 10 million views. And they talk about how they made this. It's incredible. They did an even better one, I'm not sure why I didn't link
And how
to that
did they
instead.
make it? Was it
So the way deepfakes
CGI'd
work,
on or
yeah, essentially what they do is they get a whole load. They put into a computer tons of images of someone's face from like doing different expressions from all different angles, and then they teach the deepfake computer program to then be able to map that onto someone else's face. So
That
what they'll
is
do here,
unbelievable.
it's incredibly
That's
cool,
magic.
and incredibly scary. There's some great ones
Petrifying.
with Obama as well, and yeah, dude,
Like, for anyone that's in the public eye, like for you, that must be terrifying.
it's kind of scary. Like, I'm sure there's technology, you know, that they can use, like forensic stuff to detect it. But I mean, it's pretty great. And this does look a bit fake. But they did one with Tom Cruise, which was wildly impressive.
Oh, I saw the did you see when they did that with Bill Hader on?
I don't even know who Bill Hader is.
He's the weird looking one. He's the actor. He's the weird funny one. Who
Bring up a picture of him. Maybe I'd know his face.
He was in The Office. Bill Hader.
You know, I've seen a few episodes of The Office, but I've never watched it.
He's this guy. This one.
Oh,
Very memorable,
yeah.
but no one knows who he is. And they did. He
so
was
right. I
he
know
was
this
doing
guy.
impressions. He was doing impressions on, I think it was Jimmy Kimmel, and he did. They used this like CGI face or deep fake software, and you could not tell where it turned into being him and Tom Cruise because they sort of, in their own weird way, look alike. It just looked
so
like he was doing an
deepfaked
impression.
Tom Cruise onto him.
And
Wow.
so he kind of went and put his teeth forward and everything like that, and kind of did an impression. But then they like faked the face onto him, and it was uncanny, like absolutely so close to it. But you didn't know where it had gone back and forward. It was petrifying. I highly recommend it.
It's quite terrifying. So in the Keanu Reeves one that we just saw, what they did is they got an actor who was a professional Keanu Reeves impersonator, and then so they had a great starting point. And obviously the voice and stuff, it kind of sounds like someone doing an impression of Keanu Reeves. The Tom Cruise one was better. The guy really did sound like Tom Cruise. And he also looked a bit like Tom Cruise. So yeah, got a really good starting point. But take us back to the Nixon video. Or don't worry if it's not right there.
We'll get
this one is even more impressive because it's fully digitally rendered.
It's old, isn't it?
It's not old, dude. It's all fake. All of this is just digitally rendered.
Hang on, there we go. Hang on.
So just skip ahead.
Well, hang on. This is completely digitally rendered.
Good evening, my fellow Americans.
Yep.
No.
All of this is digitally rendered.
Fate has ordained
So, because normally
that
with
the
a
men who
deepfake,
went
they
to the
put it
moon
onto someone. Just
to
pause it.
explore in peace.
They put it onto someone else's face. With this, it's fully digitally rendered. Even more impressive, the voice.
Yeah.
The
But
voice
is
is
it-
not an impression.
It's not an impression. It's
Nope.
It
is. They
machine
took-
learning or something.
They machine learned from his resignation speech. If you pull up, I think I linked to it. Yeah, so grab the resignation speech. It's in the document. So pull up that resignation speech. This is what they learned everything from. So you'll see how similar it looks.
As we got. Ads.
Are we getting an ad for a dating service?
All right, we go.
Okay, so this is the actual President Nixon resigns. This is quite a cool video because there's like 5 minutes of it before it starts rolling, so you can hear him like talking to the crew and
This
stuff.
is the 37th
But just skip right
time
ahead.
I have spoken. That's it.
Yeah, so they.
All right, here we go. So there's a picture of the White House, and then he's going to give a speech.
Decisions have been made that shape the history of this
So
nation.
that's Nixon's resignation
So basically,
speech.
they just took all the words that he used in his speech, and then they machine learned it and just faked it over. That's unbelievable.
Dude, can you imagine how confused historians are going to be? Like they're going to be like, you know, digital archaeologists
do
digging
agree.
up this stuff in 100 years, 1,000 years, and they'll be like, wait, did we land on the moon or not? Because there's this one where he's saying we didn't.
Let's be honest. Like 50 years after it happened, we're already like a whole ton of people are asking that question.
Yeah.
So it's. I think that's going to be one of those like mysteries of the past.
It's pretty intense, right?
It's petrifying. Like not petrifying, but it is interesting. I always think that because we are so lost. I wonder if the future generations will have better documentation of our lifetime. Say
I think that depends on one really big thing. If our data is readable.
yeah.
Because in the past, everything, you know, written down in notebooks and stuff, and relatively reasonably in the future, people will be able to decode that and read it. But someone in the future receiving this device, like a laptop or an iPad or whatever, how would you even, if you didn't know how that technology worked because it was lost somehow? Like we didn't know how to read hieroglyphs.
Yeah.
We just didn't know how. Imagine some similar event is lost to history, that we forget how to read digital information. Then everything. Just think about you as a person now. What do you really have that is on paper? What do you really have about yourself?
Ooh, not much. Not much.
Maybe some like weird
Birth
shit for the government that you need. Yeah,
like
it's like birth certificates,
paperwork stuff
for like the post office or for the tax office, because they're so old that they need to print shit out.
Just digitize it, yeah.
Right, so these are the only records. It's just going to be like, people will look back and be like, wow, the past was really
poor.
The past was really bureaucratic. People just did paperwork for the government. They didn't do anything else. They'd be like, yeah.
But like, because I look at things like we have, for example, really good documentation of stuff from 500 years ago, from even 1,000 years ago. There's still some really good documentation. I'm just curious as to whether our documentation is as, like, for instance, I don't think I mentioned it on the air. I told you definitely. But it was a devastating thing. I got married recently.
Devastating thing.
Devastating. That was devastating. No.
Your wife doesn't listen to this podcast.
We didn't have a videographer. We had a photographer, took pictures and stuff like that. But we had a phone. We had an iPhone which had been blanked off, and we used that as our video camera. And for some reason, it didn't let me take off the passcode, and so I just set it as 111111111. And 2 months later, so we used that, basically passed it around all the people, and everyone filmed their little bits of like their little wishes and nice things, telling us how much fun they were having. It was amazing. And get to it. Thank you. Get to it a month later, and tried to get into the phone, and it locked. And because iPhones are now so encrypted, it deleted everything, absolutely everything. And my question is one day there's just going to be like an EMP, like an electromagnetic pulse that's just going to blow up and everything's going to disappear.
Absolutely. Another event that could eliminate all that data.
Like, imagine if, for instance, not putting any dangerous ideas in anyone's heads, but say, for instance, an explosion or something happens in a Google data, what are they called? The data
center.
Centers. Like, how much information is gone after that? Like,
I assume they've got EMP shielding and stuff, I'd like to think, or it's really deep underground.
What if it's an actual physical explosion? What if someone
there's backups and stuff. Like, if there's a big fire, they'll have that data mirrored off-site somewhere.
Yeah.
And then also, okay, so Google gets blown up. It's like, I have backups of every video I've made.
I don't. I don't have backup videos of my wedding.
That's true. And also, well, in a way, it's very good that that's so secure. Do you remember when a few years ago
McAfee was trying to break into the iPhone? Was it McAfee?
Everyone was trying to break into it a while ago. The FBI was trying to break into it because wasn't there there was a mass shooting
or something, yeah.
And then one of the people was dead and they wanted to get access to the phone and they had like all of the rights to do it and stuff, but they couldn't because they couldn't get past the security. And Apple
said we won't do it.
Said we won't do it. Mm-hmm. And the FBI were like, oh, okay. Because I think there's something where you can't be forced to reveal. There was something.
I think it was a...
Oh, wait. I think they said they couldn't do it.
Who, Apple? Yeah, no, they did, didn't they? Because there's no back door into
That's right.
into Apple systems.
There's no back door to do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I put on my conspiracy hat for a moment.
There must be a way in.
I think it's deeper than that even. I think if I was the FBI, that is the story I want to tell. Your phone is secure. Store whatever you like on your phone. Don't worry, Sam. We can't get at it. Really, even if they got in.
Really, we're watching all the time.
Right. Because they want you to think you're safe and secure. They want you to think that, God, I'm sounding like a conspiracy theorist. It's just a thought.
Take that cap off.
That if I was in the FBI and I was thinking about how to make people feel comfortable and store all their secret information on their phones, that is how I would do it.